nothing, nothing. And what I know about is that I know about nothing, nothing. Here we really go, roaming in the night with a lot of bit of fright like war. Do you wanna really know about life? Do you really wanna know? I've been analyzing everything I do and I don't even wanna show my deepest core, I'm lost, I'm scared, I move so unprepared. My presence always there, but my mind can't take your stare. No, no, I do not wanna see you anymore. No, I need to be alone with no remorse. I just needed you to leave and close the door and don't let anybody in so I can feel it on my own. Oh, I'm so damn selfish, but I know I can't help it. I'm so damn selfish. Oh, what I know about life is that I know about nothing, nothing. And what I know about life is that I know about nothing, nothing. And what I know about life is that I know about nothing, nothing. And what I know about life is that I know about nothing, 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 no, no. Look at me right now, you tell me I'm your one. I'm scared as shit right now. I've been feeling insecure, I've been feeling open wounds. I just feel my life is ruined, think I realize it too soon. I don't like your new perfume, and I know you don't like my tunes. I can't take your golden shroom, I will end up on that moon. On my own I know I'll bloom. Oh, I'm so damn selfish, but I know I can't help it. I'm so damn selfish. Oh, what I know about life is that I know about nothing, nothing. And what I know about life is that I know about nothing, nothing. And what I know about life is that I know about nothing, nothing. And what I know about life is that I know about nothing, 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 no, no. Not a thing, no clue what's even true. I've been questioning my life and the things that I gotta do. Beautiful quest, I'm blessed, but hella stressed, cause I've never been obsessed with seeing figures on the checks. But it's not like I'm against getting racked out, but every time I see a dollar bill, man, I pass out. Cause Jay been building pyramids, and shit is getting serious when helicopters flying in the sky, getting curious. Oh, what the hell they doing with the weather? Frequency control, they say they do it for the better. Now I ain't trying to be corny, people needed to warn me. Mother Earth is deforming, yo, Mother Earth is ascending. People keep pretending like they feel like they remember. Nah, you got a species with amnesia, and 500 million people getting seizures from grubbing on Mickey D's. Utterly disgusting, this is no assumption. Don't you know you function off whatever you've been munching? I'm really just trusting myself and everyone in the world, cause everyone is the world and everyone is a world within them. Why you think they call it a universe? Maybe it's united, something that we separate from and try to define it. Maybe by defining we killing all the beauty and we wasting all our time. And I'm leaning for the vibe and the joy and celebration of the rhyming, when no one categorizes shining of any individual that's finding themselves. Oh, I'm so damn selfless, and I know I can't help it. Oh, I'm so damn selfless. Oh, more to know about life. I don't know a thing. I don't know a thing. I don't know a thing. More to know about life. I don't know a thing. I don't know a thing. I don't know a thing. More to know about life. I don't know a thing. Oh, more to know about life. More to know about life.
This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanting lullaby. This enchanting lullaby.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf. Tony, again, I give you accolades for...
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
A person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself should find that truth out for his or herself.
All right, greetings everyone. Greetings. This is Metaphysics Speaks in the spirit with Dr. Dilbert Blair, and this is your host Tony. All right, greetings everyone. I hope you are doing well since our last Tuesday show. That is. And this is your host Tony. All right, greetings everyone. I hope you are doing well since our last Tuesday show. That is. And this is your host Tony. Let me get my audio level set here real quick. Last Tuesday show. Let me get my audio level set here real quick. Okay, we had a few people in the Zoom call that I had to end it because it was causing a bit of feedback on my end. So for those in Zoom, if you're listening, join in to the YouTube chat. You can better watch it and listen there. So for those in Zoom, if you're listening, join in to the YouTube chat. You can better watch it and listen there. So for those in Zoom, if you're listening, join in to the YouTube chat. You can better watch it. Okay. So again, this is Metaphysics Speaks in the spirit of Dr. Dilbert Blair, and this is your host, Tony. I hope all of you are doing well since our last Tuesday show. Of course, there's always a whole lot going on. And so I hope you like this whole new setup here. All right, so as you see, family, every time we have a show, it's getting a bit better. All right, even working with these transitions and all this other stuff. So tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the Aquarian age, and also we're going to do a glimpse into the astral plane. Okay, so before we even get into that, again, I hope you're doing well in your time and space. And of course, I always mention time. I always got to mention time. And so there's only 1,440 minutes in a day. And so no matter who you pray to or what your belief system is, you're not going to get even 1 minute more added to your life. So use your time wisely. Okay. And before we get started here, I hope you have your favorite beverage of choice. My beverage tonight is gray matter. Okay. And I have some goji berries in it. And,
Yeah. So gray matter with some goji berries, and so that's what I'm drinking tonight. And so I hope you have your favorite beverage of choice. Some people already in the chat room have stated what their beverage of choice tonight would be. And so, yeah. So let's have our conversation. The coupon code tonight is Great House. Great, Great House. Okay, and Great House will give you 15% off plus free shipping on any size order. As usual, we're going to go over some, before we get to the meat of it all, we're going to go over even some events, go over, we're going to do some product spotlights of some of the products many of you have been purchasing, whether it's from this show or from other avenues. And then we'll get into the meat of tonight's show. If because I ended the Zoom call just because it was causing some feedback on my end, let's see here. Actually, now that I see where the feedback. Yep. So, yeah, now I see where it was coming from. But nevertheless, we're going to be focusing more on the YouTube Live, and the Zoom call will be for those who want to make a comment or ask a question verbally. If not, you can type it into the YouTube box, and I'll just read it off during the show. All right, someone said they're getting a bit of feedback, so I want to verify this here. Okay. Okay, so, all right, everyone. Okay, so let's get into some product spotlight real quick before we get into the meat of the show. First, a product that many of you have been really interested in is the Dreamscape and Clairvoyance. You're about to see it on the screen here momentarily. That's Dreamscape there. And Dreamscape takes your dreams to a whole nother level. And so, in particular with Dreamscape, well, when I mentioned this last time on the show, it was already super popular, but you all took it completely out of stock. So some people had ordered it, and they ordered Dreamscape in their order, so I'm rushing to make more because you all just keep buying Dreamscape like that. And so, like even one person purchased 20 bottles of it, and I had to call them up and say, "Hey, you purchased 20 bottles of this. I can give you wholesale pricing. Yes, that's for you all as well to know that." And he said, "No, that's just for him. He didn't mind paying full price. It's for him, and he's going to keep it as a supply because he used it even beforehand, but he keeps seeing it goes out of stock. So he wants to keep a supply of it." I said, "All right, bro, do what you do." Another product that has been very popular. The ingredients in this product are a bit more expensive. So when I make it, I only make a limited amount, and that is Clairvoyance. Okay, Clairvoyance is to be taken during the daytime, or if you want to, if you're doing meditation, where Dreamscape is a nighttime, bedtime type of tea. Okay, Dreamscape is for nighttime or bedtime. It should not be taken during the day. Clairvoyance is for during the day. Okay, they have different ingredients in it. They work on similar principles, but the Clairvoyance will make you sleepy, and it'll kind of even make you even potentially have an OBE while you're awake. Okay, it's just that powerful, and it's even out of stock more than Dreamscape. Okay, even more people buy that, and it's been going crazy. So those are two really good products for you all. Another product, of course, is the Be Well. Be Well became very popular during when this whole pandemic thing started last year. Be Well was something that I only gave pretty much friends and family only. And so I put it up on the website. It's an extremely powerful tea. It's a tea that you do not drink all the time. It's not meant to be drunk like a regular herbal type of tea, because it will overexcite your immune system. So it's a tea where if you are battling something, or you feel you may be battling something, this is when you would drink Be Well. Okay, or if you, for example, if you work in an environment where people are sick all the time, then yeah, you should drink Be Well. Okay, but if everything's fine, you're not sick, everything's okay, you should not drink Be Well. All right, so let's talk about some upcoming events. Oh, one more product that you all have been talking about as well, which is the astrological bundle. The astrological bundle, of course, it's on the website. You can check it out. And you have to read some of the feedback there. Okay, people left extensive reviews. You have to read them. Literally, it's the book of you. Okay, and to everybody who's in the chat room, I do see you there. Peace to everybody there. Okay, so I do see you. Appreciate you joining in right now. All right, so I'm looking at the stream details. There's a lot going on, trying to figure all this out on the fly. Because pretty much some of you all were getting notifications late last night at around 1 o'clock in the morning. I kept sending the live, kept making it live. I kept testing it out. I wanted to make sure that everything works the way that I would like it to work, okay, with the transitions and everything else. And the only way I could truly test it is to make it live. Okay, and so some of you all kept getting notifications throughout the night, and I apologize for that. And some of you kept coming to the channel over and over and over again. I'm like, hey, I'm just testing. So, yeah, this is interesting. But again, peace to everybody. All right, so you all are going to really enjoy tonight's show once we get into the meat of it. Okay, so upcoming events here. February 27th, okay, February 27th. We have a micro class on creativity. Okay, so many of you have been just expressing or wanting to express the most creative version of yourself. And so this class is about that. Okay, it's good for artists, writers, creators, inventors, and business owners. Because even business owners can be creative in what they do, or whether it be their marketing, or whether it be creating new products, services, or whatever. It's only $10, and this is an online class. Because many of you kept saying, man, the superhuman classes, they're not online. No, it's sacred information. It can't be online. Okay, but you all keep asking for classes that are online. So here's one. It's only $10, and it's online. Okay, and so it's a micro class. So it'll be about maybe an hour or two, and we're going to go over all different, not only aspects of creativity, but how to bring about the creativity out of you, especially if you feel that you have the skill set to do whatever you need to do, but just that creative flair is kind of missing, then you need to join this class. $10, you can register on the website. The next class here is Learn to Heal Thyself. Learn to Heal Thyself will be in Chicago. Oh, I used the wrong image. It's a typo in that image there, but still, it's in Chicago, downtown Chicago. The last day of registration is February 20th. And so you have to register by February 20th if you want to come to the March 20th class. Again, it's in Chicago. This is class 301. Even though it says advanced there, even if you have not come to a previous class, you are welcome to come. You will learn. You will be able to understand what's taking place. Everything is broken down. This class is very hands-on. For those who came to all three classes in level 1, they will be eligible for a test if they choose to take the test. But still, you can come and learn if you want to come out and be with like-minded people. Okay, that's March 20th. The cost is $110. It includes food. We usually have meditation before we even start, which starts at around 10:30 in the morning, and that's just that. Okay. Of course, I mean, you have heard of the Journey to Superhuman Session 7. This here, because it's so advanced and you had to attend, for the most part, multiple classes. Okay. Otherwise, you're literally cheating yourself. It's going to be in the summer of this year. Okay. So, all right. So, before we begin, yeah, it's good to see everyone present. I do see everyone here. So the actual, of course, you see everyone. We're on the Metaphysics Speaks YouTube channel because this is for the podcast. I didn't want to mix Metaphysics Speaks information with the Meta Center information. So clips of this podcast tonight will be on the Meta Center page, and that has many, many more people who would have been on the stream right now. Probably been closer to 200, but it is what it is. But the full stream of this will be uploaded when we get done. Okay, so the previous streams had a lot of errors just because I was figuring out stuff, so I didn't want to put it up in its entirety, and I'm still chopping it up and putting up pieces of it. But this stream will be up, so you'll be able to listen to it again if you would like. All right, let's see here. So, as we begin tonight's conversation, please make sure you take a grain of salt for purity's sake. Okay, make sure you have your grain of salt, and just take one grain of salt for purity's sake. As some of our conversation will be based on what people think or believe or hope for, and it is not necessarily what it is. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that. Some of our conversation will be based on what people think or believe or hope for, and it is not necessarily what it is. So, before we actually get into the astrology or astrological information, let us talk about health. All over the internet now, everywhere you look, everyone's a herbalist. Everywhere you look, right? And even though there are levels to it, still people are trying to promote health in some form or fashion. Also around social media, you see people talk about fasting. Okay. Typically it's longer term fasting. Okay, people try to do, of course, 5 days or more. I mean, it's okay. And you hear about exercise, and everybody's also a personal trainer, which is also, I mean, if they're about health and wellness, what can I say about that? Okay, cool. That's good too. But this is much deeper than that. It's not just about the herbs, the longer term fasting and exercise. Even though all of those are good, but as we can tell, people in mass are still becoming sicker, weaker, and their willpower is still depleting. This is because the pestilence, of course, many of you know what the pestilence is. Many of you know, let's see something here. Many of you know what the pestilence is. Someone said they can't hear, so I just want to verify this before I even get started. Can you all hear me? Verify this. Can you all hear me? Okay, cool. All right, so I do appreciate it. I just want to kind of want to get into this whole meat of things, and we end up having to repeat all this stuff. So, because this is extremely important tonight, we're going to have absolute clarity. Okay, we're going to be put some years ahead in absolute clarity for what at least will be put out here publicly. Okay, so as I said, it's not just about herbs. Okay, or the longer term fasting or exercise. Even though all those are good, we can tell people are in mass, they're still becoming sicker. They're still becoming weaker, and their willpower is still depleting. This is because the pestilence, of course, and that's from the book Muwa. You would know exactly what the pestilence is. The effects of it affects the willpower directly, and it drains it over time. So instead, let's work on health while simultaneously purposely building up one's willpower. So this is a challenge for you all. Okay, this challenge, I feel, is easy. Okay, I feel this challenge is easy. I feel that all of you all can do it with no issue at all. And even if you do more than this, just try it out anyway. So what I would like you to do for 1 to 2 weeks, okay, for 1 to 2 weeks, I want you to cut out all sugar. Okay, they put sugar even in water. Okay, that's how serious not only the addictions can become, because it's sugar in everything, but also what it's doing to your actual brain, in which we're going to get into. For those who do not know, when we have classes like the herbology class, we do continuing education. So between the classes, we have free classes where we talk about, they're like micro classes, and we talk about very specific subject matter. So later in February, we actually have a micro class where we're talking about specific things with sugar. And of course, it's different than anything you hear elsewhere. It's coming from a different perspective, and also a metaphysical perspective. So I'm not going to get into any of that right now, but for the next week or two, I challenge you to cut out all sugar, period. Now, you can eat fruit. Eating fruit, it has natural sugars in it, that's fine. Okay, but no added sugar to anything, no food which they added sugar to it. So that means no chips, no bread, because they add tons of sugar to bread. Of course, obviously no soda. And I want you to go 1 or 2 weeks and pretty much try to wean yourself off of sugar. And it's going to, your brain chemistry is going to start to change. Even your sleep patterns will change. I'm not going to say exactly what the changes will be, but you will tell me. Okay? Privately, with clients who do consultations, stuff like that, for different reasons, we have been doing this for years. The next thing that I would like you to do, for those who are able to do it, I would like you to fast, but this fast is going to be a little bit different. I want you to fast every other day. Okay, let's say for 2 weeks. So like today you ate today, then tomorrow you fast. The next day you eat, the next day you fast. The next day you eat, the next day you fast. Okay, it makes it slowly builds up. Everybody wants to do things fast. They want things immediately. Instant gratification. We are in a time of instant gratification when it comes to everything. Okay, so this is going to start to build up your willpower over time. Now, on the day that you fast, if you really are on a major detox, distill water only, if you can do that. But if you cannot, and you want a fruit smoothie, or you want some fresh pressed vegetable juice, guess what? That's okay. Don't beat yourself up. It's cool. Okay? On the day that you fast, you can, if you really need it, you can have fruit smoothies, whether it be fruit smoothies or vegetable smoothies or fresh pressed vegetable juices. But you cannot add like granola and all that stuff to it. Okay? It has to be liquid only. If you need that. Again, that is okay. And do this every other day. Try to do it for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Okay, that ends up coming to approximately 7 days you fasted, 7 days you didn't. All right, because you're doing it every other day. If you could do it longer, then do it. Yes, you can drink tea. Tea is fine. All right, so when it comes to the fast, for those who are used to putting your body through those things, try to do it for minimum 2 weeks. but up to 1 month. Minimum 2 weeks, but up to a month. And you will see how fantastic you feel. And you'll feel many times much better than just fasting for 5 days straight or 7 days straight. Okay? You'll feel way more energetic. You'll feel you'll have more focus. Your dreams will be more vivid. Your sleep will be more fulfilling and deeper. Okay, because you have to. It took years for us, and from the environment, not even direct damage that we're doing to ourselves, but our environment is causing stress on us. So you're going to do your part to help to alleviate that. A person in the chat room said honey. No honey at all. Like when I drink tea, I don't put any sweetener in it. I don't put any honey in it. I don't do any of that. Okay, so even though I partake in some flesh like fish up here in the north, still I eat primarily like a vegan. Okay, so when you drink your teas, ideally, unless it's just like a conversational tea, like some oolong or some Earl Grey. Okay, you want to add a little honey to that, that's cool, but not when you're fasting though. But if you want to, just on a normal basis, if you want to do that, that's okay. But ideally, you want things in this raw state if you're able to. Like my tea right now is is gray matter with some goji berries, and it's raw. Doesn't really have a taste to it at all. I tend to strain it out a few times. And, all right. So, okay. So, let us get into the ages. Okay, so now we're about to get into dealing with the Aquarius age. But what we're going to do is we're going to also talk about some other ages like Pisces and a bit of reference material for you to do your own research or whatever it may be concerning some of the other ages we're going to get to and hint to. But so let's see here. Okay. Okay, so all ages have its perceived positive and not so positive. So do not get wooed by everyone cheering on the coming of something new. In all of our lives, sharing this current space, when have you known this to be a good thing? Right now, all over you look on social media, people are cheering on, yes, the age of Aquarius, this and that. And they go, okay. And we're going to get into the whys in a moment. All right. While we actually are speaking, I'm actually have it's another part that I want to speak to as well. And I don't have my notes. I want to make sure that we do speak on it. All right, so although many people consider the age of Pisces to begin at year 0 with the so-called birth of Jesus, with occurring age beginning at the year 2000, most astronomers agree that the age of Pisces actually began in the year 498 CE, indicating entry into the Aquarius in 2658. So by some there's many different sources, many different calendars in the world. And at the minimum, they say we're actually will be entering into the Aquarian age in 100 years. Again, remember I said in the beginning, even though they're the astral clock, okay, the clock in the universe is moving for sure. Even though that's the case, still, A lot of this is belief. It is hope. Okay? So many astronomers and astrologers, they say at bare minimum 100 years from now, but some others say a few hundred years from now. Okay? Under the age of Pisces, we have seen the Piscean archetypes of sacrifice of the individual ego, universal love and compassion, assimilation, and the more negative projections of illusion, fantasy, and delusion. Each astrological age has been represented by a deistic pantheon. The end of each age is marked by the ending of the worship of that pantheon. The Piscean age has been marked by the growth of the three major monotheistic religions, each of which claims to be the only correct one, and the attempted dissolution of the individual ego. Pisces could stand for faith, belief, sacrifice, and religion. As we move from the Piscean age into Aquarius age, the awakener, or its polar opposite, the deceiver. Okay? Here, remember, we're split, and in many cases, we're in duality. So everything has its north and south pole, in short. Okay? Everyone talks about, oh, there'll be awakening and things like that, and or they are the awakener. But what's the polar opposite of that? Is that you'll be putting people to sleep, whether it be directly or indirectly, because you are a deceiver. We are being shown that the emperor doesn't have any clothes, that that the reality that we have based our religious foundations will be shattered in the upcoming years. Aquarius represents thought, contemplation, innovation, and science. In the movement from the former era to the latter, religion battles science. This is very evident in our present world, especially with the current pandemic, with those who believe, or actually know, it is BS, versus those who claim that science says it's real, even though they are purposely deceiving in the name of science. We might have thought that science triumphed already by the discoveries in the West, such as of Newton, Darwin, Einstein, Tesla, etc., and many other scientists. But these last few decades, we see religion making an aggressive fundamentalist comeback, as if we have to choose between the two cosmologies, although they really speak about completely different things with completely different languages. The tenets of faith versus the 0 and 1. Okay? It's the tenets of faith versus the 0 and 1, which is binary. From what I can speak of on this public forum, from the Renaissance and on, religion has been increasingly questioned, particularly from a scientific standpoint. This is expressed when Laplace was asked by Napoleon why he did not even once mention God in his book about the mechanics of the universe. Laplace, now I may be saying that name wrong, it's spelled Laplace, so it's like Laplace, but I don't think it's pronounced that way. But nevertheless, he had replied, I had no need of that hypothesis. And they consider a hypothesis is a theory. Because they don't know it's a fact, then really it doesn't even exist, so why even include it at all? The religious world order is struggling for its life. The closer we get to the grand finale, which is the start of the age of Aquarius, the more desperately religion will fight that change. the age of Aquarius is not a slam dunk of joy and prosperity either. It has its advantages compared to the age of Pisces, but also it has its drawbacks. In this era, knowledge is king. The compassion developed during the age of Pisces is replaced by the firm rule of reason, whatever the cost. Okay. And we see this right now. We see things changing, an authoritarian rule taking place, even in their own dictate. It says how pretty much everyone will be controlled and stuff like that, right? Through technology, through science. That's not a good thing, boss. Yeah, it's knowledge, but it's corrupted knowledge. In science, there is great intolerance. It is even less prone than religion to accept doubt. The Crusades, anyone? So even when you think of the previous age and how you've seen religious zealots go around and force their belief on others, the Aquarius age will be even worse. Now it's through science. And not only will they try to force your beliefs or try to harm you due to the fact that their God is this and you're saying your God is something else, but now based on science and reason, not only will they do the same destructive acts that were done in the past, but they will even do experiments on you like we're experiencing now and everything else, which one of the future, let me say this to you all, I appreciate you all doing the poll. I put up a poll on the was it the Meta Center? Or it was this channel. I'm not sure which channel I did it on. I think it was the Meta Center channel. But nevertheless, I did a poll and I said, what topic do you want to know of next? Do you want to do do this podcast about the Aquarian age? Do you want to do one about water? Do you want to just have open lines? And you all spoke on what you want. Okay, so if you all seeing that it is kind of buffering a little bit, there's an option here that is telling me that I need to set, but I'm not going to do it now because I don't want things to mess up. Okay, so as long as everything you all keep saying is cool, then we good. But now I know for next time what is taking place here. This is so interesting. Just all this what's taking place. The religious world is struggling for its life. The closer we get to the grand finale, which is the start of the age of Aquarius, the more desperate religion will fight that change. The age of Aquarius is not a slam dunk of joy and prosperity either. It has its advantage, of course, compared to the age of Pisces. Okay, I got to all that. So in science, we are talking about how there's great intolerance, even worse than like the previous age, okay, which had the Crusades and all types of other, whole lineages have been wiped out. We know this for a fact. Okay, at least we still remember this, at least through books and through stories being told. Now, can humanity move into each age, let's say, in positivity, more where it's more wholeness, it's more balance, let's say? Can that potentially happen? Of course it can. Most certainly it can. But the problem is that humanity has to work for that. Okay, it's not going to be easy. You have to work for what you want. And if you're not willing to work for what you want, then it's not going to happen, boss. Period. You have to work for what you want. And of course, as we see all around us, there is not enough people actually working for what they want. Okay? It's not enough people working for what they want. All is balance. So because there's not enough people working for what they want, then you will reap what you sow. If you don't even reap anything, then you're going to sow the not so good energies when it comes back to you. So nevertheless, let's move on past that. What religion regards as true is a question of faith and belief. So it's open to choice. What science regards as true is called fact and can only be discussed within its own system of reason. Its claim of truth is much more rigid and firm. So where how you can potentially wiggle out of certain situations based on faith or belief, with science, there's no wiggle room anymore. It's very binary. Yes or no. In science, it even claims that what is not a proven fact can exist. Okay? So in science, it even claims that what is not a proven fact cannot exist. Even though you can be looking at that very thing in front of your eyes, it will be ignored because it has not been proven, so it doesn't exist. Now, don't tell me, is that a good thing or not? So, of course, a form of this is this podcast and the very nature of the progression of the events that we have held, etc. It doesn't deal with belief nor totally in science, but reality, to see things as they are, which is actually well past the Aquarian age. This should tell you how far ahead you are in space and time. Hence why those who come out need to make sure that you and your tribe follow the way of seeing the reality of all things. As such, you won't be waxed and waned like the cycles of the moon. And as such, when that faraway time comes to be and the program has ended, I'm talking about the program of this reality, it will be an honor to be amongst you brothers and sisters who held true through all the degrees. Entering and exiting the many houses and all that has occurred internally and externally. To know all the losses that have occurred and all the triumphs we have had together over and over through each house, through the progressions of the great house, through all space and time. The equatorial bulge of the earth causes a shifting in the earth's axis, and the point at which the sun at the vernal equinox points to the zodiacal constellations. This phenomenon is known as the precession and creates the period of 25,920 years that we call the Great Year. The Great Year is divided into 12 great ages. Each is approximately 2,160 years. Okay, so like the Aquarian age was approximately 2,160 years. The Piscean age was approximately 2,160 years. Because of the orb of influence, or orb, which describes the fact that a change in sign makes itself known several degrees before the actual change. And in the astrological chart, this would be called a cusp. Okay? So as it starts to approach, the sign that is approaching starts to bleed into it, let's say, and it starts to mix energies. There is some flexibility to course to that 2,160 figure. As the spring equinox travels slowly through the zodiac sign, the era goes through three main stages that correspond to the three qualities of the zodiac: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. A zodiac sign can have either of the three qualities. Pisces is mutable, whereas Aquarius is fixed. But also every sign can be divided into three parts. Of course, many of you have got astrology charts over the years, and in those astrology charts, there's usually a section that talks about your decanty, okay? And that's, let's say if you take a month of 30 days, and you were to split that 30 days in 10-day periods, each 10-day period, of course, 10, 10, 10 equals 30, right? Even though not every month is exactly 30 days, but this is just for simplicity. Each of those 30 days, or each of those 10 days is has a specific energy with it. Okay? So every sign is divided into 3 parts, each spanning 10 of the 30 degrees of the sign. They are called decans, which comes from the Greek word for 10, deca. So the first 10 degrees of a sign belong to the cardinal decan of it. The 11th to the 20th degree are in the fixed decan, and in the 21st to the 30th degree are in the mutable decan. In astrology, charts this is similar to, of course, decanties. The cardinal quality is one of leadership, of boldly moving on in a direction of one's own initiative, demanding others to follow. The fixed quality is that one who remains where he's at, unwilling to lead and equally unwilling to follow. The mutable quality is that of the follower who seeks others and goes where they point, even if it leads to personal sacrifices. Right now, in the Piscean age, we are more so unfortunately, in the mutable, where you're starting to see a lot of cult leaders pop up all over the place. And some of us privately, we talk about these entities and and how because these entities, these cult leaders are muwa, right? So of course, as in the book Muwa, they seek out, their ego is like huge, and they're seeking out to be praised. They constantly want to be praised, whether it be their birthday, whether it be they put out a new, I don't know, whatever. Okay, they want to be praised. They want you to have to see them. Please see me, right? So we're starting to see a lot of this, which goes hand in hand with what is taking place actually astrologically. And unfortunately, it doesn't end good for a lot of these people who are following these types of entities. That hence why the Meta Center talks about, and its focus is on making you stand on your own 2 feet by bringing your own individuality. Okay, because even though we all have 2 legs and 2 arms, etc., still you have a unique energy within you, and that needs to be expressed. Pisces, for example, again, is mutable, but its 3 decans still have their own tendencies, although none of them is more typical in its characteristic than a mutable one, because it's in accord with the general quality of the sign. So, for example, even though its main energy may be mutable, it will have 3 additional energies that will relate to it depending upon which phase it's in. Okay, one of those could be shy, one of those could be strong, one of those could be happy, whatever. So, but even though it's in those 3 energies, still the main energy prevails, which is it's still mutable. It just has these extra little tendencies within that. An era can be described as a process through the 3 decans, where each takes slightly more than 700 years. Since the spring equinox, and you backtrack 700 years, of course, the 3 decans, right? Age is 2,160 years. So if it's 700 years apiece, you do 700 times 3. That's 700, 1,400, 2,100. Okay, so that equals, obviously, approximately an age. So since the spring equinox moves backwards through the zodiac, these decan periods also go backwards. The first period of an era is the mutable one, next the fixed, and last the cardinal. This means, generally speaking, that an era starts by searching for its identity in a process taking approximately 700 years or so. The next 700 years, it's established and remains quite conservatively in the state of affairs. The last 700 years, it increasingly involved in battles to remain and keep its dominance. In vain, of course, since a new era will come, but the process is both noisy and costly. Meaning that toward when a new age is coming about and an old age is ending, at least in our modern times, it means a lot of people will die. Whether it be a controlled culling of the population or whether it be a truly random event. While the great ages certainly go back to the formation of the earth itself, the ages that are known to us are the age of Leo. It went from approximately 10,300 to 8140 BCE. Supposedly it goes back to the period of great rains in that country. And this is in Africa, where even many historians now are saying that it was actually like a lush forest. Okay. Although little is known of this period, it could have presided over a golden age because Leo rules gold, where the sun was worshipped as the primordial god of light and life. The age of Cancer, which is approximately 8,140 to 6,000 BCE. Cancer is the sign of the moon and the mother, and the age of corresponding to the worship of the great goddess and moon. Coincidentally, some of these things still go on today. Obviously, we just did a podcast not too long ago about the moon, right? And we see it all over Instagram. We see all these people worshiping the moon, and it's supposedly, I'm not gonna get too much into it, but if it's a false satellite, if it wasn't even there at first, so let's is assume it's 100% a false satellite. That means that it's almost like somebody in your home, you didn't have a rock there. Somebody walked into your house, put a rock there. So now it's something there, and now you start worshiping this rock just because it's there. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. But nevertheless, this is a leftover from the age of Cancer. And this is supposedly 8,140 to 6,000 BCE. That's a long time ago. And yet these certain behaviors are still trying to pop its head up if you believe what is publicly available. Now, in the superhuman classes, we have a certain saying about anything in the public. But let's move on. So, Cancer is a water sign, and many scientists believe that this period corresponded to the end of the Ice Age in the Great Deluge, of myth that resulted from catastrophic melting of the glaciers. As humans began to form tribes, they became more concerned with family groupings and genealogy, another hallmark of Cancer. Women were considered the source of creation since they bore the children. The age of Gemini, from approximately 6,000 to 3,800 BCE. Gemini rules communication and speech. And this age saw the development of the first written languages and establishment of villages. The cult of twin gods and creation myths began during this period. The wheel and plow are invented. Gemini rules thoughts and ideas. Aiding in the spread of agriculture. Notice many of the sayings in the New Age movements, such as twin flame, etc. This is where it derives from. Oh man, brought back to the light by a bunch of New Agers back in the 20s and 30s and 40s and everything else. But I'm going to get into that later. The age of Taurus, from 3,800 to around 1660 BCE. Primary agriculture. And of course, Taurus is ruled by the Earth and Venus. Makes its way throughout cultures in the Americas, Africa, and Asia. The first temples were built in Mesopotamia. and the first jewelry and aesthetic objects, which is Venus energy, are created. Bull coats, Taurus is symbolized by the bull, were dominant in Greece and Egypt, and even though it goes deeper than that, into some more esoteric stuff, we're not going to get into that tonight. In the worship of the more sexualized goddess Inanna, Ishtar, and many others became popular, like temples of Isis and all type of other stuff, which is just nonsense. A lot of this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Remember, each age has its positive and has its not so positive. Even though the not so positive, like when you look at the New Age movements today, they tend to gravitate toward the not so positive of when you look at these different ages and at least the publicly available information you can find, the things that you see even on social media and people are waxing and waning towards these different energies, you see that it's tend to be the lower half or the negative aspects of the previous ages, trying to bring it back to the front. It's like this is American Gods or something, the TV show. And these are like old gods trying to make a comeback. The age of Aries, 1660 BCE to 498 CE, was the age of the hero and the warrior. The eruption of the volcano Santorini in 1680 destroyed the Minoan civilization, along with it their bull cult, which is the age of Taurus. This age was marked synchronistically by the Indo-Aryan, which is the Aries, migration in the beginnings of cattle domestication, which is conquering the bull god. Rituals of the cult involve slaughtering of bulls, which has come down to us today as a bullfight. The gods of the age of Aries, as in each age before them, eradicated the gods that preceded them. One moment, y'all. Why is this? All right, so Pisces is a sign of the water element, and the origin of Christianity finds Jesus, at least the so-called Jesus, being baptized in the river, symbolizing the dissolution of the personal ego into the river of faith, a ritual that continues today. And of course, there's many other things that go around that, but of course, this thing we'll be here for 8 hours, going into all the extra things. So, aspects of the subconscious made into edicts from religious authorities for those who are considered lost, dead, within the theatrics of the cube. We have heard that we enter the age of Aquarius, where wisdom will flourish in a world finally maturing. Unfortunately, that's still at least more than 100 years into the future, and the time until then will be one of intensified religious aggression. Now, it may not just be directly so-called, like for example, you may not see the Christian church out there on the battlefield, but like this could be masked as, like, for example, the so-called aggression that you've seen with Trump. Okay, and how people were so aggressive that regardless if they were right or wrong, but aggressive toward the ideals of their belief, let's say in America, or what it stands for, etc. That's very religious-like. And so the time until then will have intensified religious aggression, because faith will not yield without battle. The age of Pisces is almost over, of course, and Pisces values are being wiped out, causing unprecedented change and upheaval in our lifetime. And we are not done yet. The Piscean values of money, power, and control are being replaced. They do not resonate with the values of the new great cycle, the age of Aquarius. Those values are love, brotherhood, unity, and integrity. But do not be deceived. This will be even more control. Because it sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Oh, yes, love and brotherhood, unity, and everyone comes together. I mean, so everyone's going to go from treating each other like crap to all of a sudden holding hands. That's not the way it works. Only way in this current environment that you can do that is if you wipe out majority of people and then you program the remaining. That's the only way you can do that in this type of energy. Okay, it doesn't mean that many of us may not get along, and we could all hang around each other, and that's all good and dandy. But we're talking about the greater society. Okay, now innately, internally, people just want to chill. People just want to relax. Let's say have families, have children, and just be with their family, friends, and so on and so forth. But because there are so many people, you have the clones who are just there to cause issues. You got people who literally are from tribes and energies that no matter what's going on, they're never happy, so they're always going to cause problems. And so because all those type of entities are around, it leaves really no chance for the greater to, as far as in positivity and stuff like that, to really prevail unless those who are aspects of that really push it forward. Pisces was the ruling constellation in the eastern pre-dawn night sky, but the effects or influences of the Aquarian age have been felt powerfully for as much as 800 years. The influences of the Aquarius began around the French Revolution, when their slogan was freedom, equality, fraternity. These values represent the Aquarian age. The change in astrological ages is gradual. Even the push to complete the change lasts even after the new age has begun. Our technology booms, especially in electricity, are actually spawned by the new present age of Aquarius. Modern man thinks it's because we are so much more advanced than our ancestors. Think again, powers greater than us have been pulling the strings. Technology went into an unprecedented trajectory in the age of Pisces. It will continue to escalate, and methods that are in harmony with the earth will become a prerequisite to all new inventions. Yeah, but that's going to come at that's a good thing in general, but that's going to come at a major cost. Harmony, and for the good of the whole world will be mandatory and innate. Nothing will flourish unless it satisfies the values of the Aquarian age. So when you get mid into it, you're talking about, of course, 1,000+ years from now. So let's say right in the middle of the Aquarian age, okay, which could be considered more of a golden time. Well, yes, it's going to be, as I said in the book 2020, or it was the book of compression, that it's going to be a utopia, but an authoritative utopia. It's not a utopia brought about naturally. It's a utopia brought about with absolute aggression, and those people will pretty much be in open. Well, this is like an open air prison now, but it would be massively controlled. But nevertheless, the fall of Rome began at the beginning of this age. As with all great cycle changes, the age of Pisces began with chaos. Rome fell and chaos was rampant. As the great change of power began, it was the birthing of the so-called Middle Ages. The age of Pisces is considered the age of Jesus. Egypt's Isis was dropped, and Mary, mother of Jesus, came into being, replacing her near the close of the age of Aries. Jesus is said to have been born of the Virgin Mary. Virgo is the polar opposite sign of Pisces. The age of Pisces also represents charity, mercy, sacrifice, compassion, and pardon, which are the virtues taught and lived by the so-called Jesus. Water played a prominent role in the teachings of Jesus, the so-called Jesus, and Pisces is a water sign. The fish is the symbol of Pisces. Many of Jesus' gatherings were near lakes and water. Fish were a big part of the diet of Jesus. That's why he allows it in the scriptures. His disciples and the multitudes, water was used to baptize the people. Jesus was sacrificed because he was the Lamb of God. This represents the sacrificing of the ram of Aries, which ended the age of Aries, the astrological age before Pisces. Pisces marks the merging of East and West to give birth to the new age of Aquarius, which could be allegory for merging the right and left hemispheres of the brain. In fact, that's what has happened earlier in the age of Pisces. The Europeans, the Vikings, and more integrated with other cultures en masse. In recent history, China, India, much of the East have found their economic might, and now the economies of the West are totally reliant on this trade. The East and West have merged as never before, making it difficult for wars and other negative activities to continue. Religious wars have been ramped up during Pisces, with people killing others simply because they didn't have the same religious beliefs. No Pacific religions need be singled out. Since this phenomenon occurred throughout most of the civilized world from east to west, the value of organized religion should diminish as the grip of Pisces comes to a close. On the other hand, the age of Pisces has also been a very spiritual age. Monasteries, ashrams, temples, and pilgrimages all came into being during this age. Many started on the path back to the Creator, but few were able to get to it because they were heavily tied to the senses. This searching will come to fruition in the age of Aquarius, and the greater meaning of things will be known or not known. You see, I did both there, right? Known or not known, because there is duality in many things, right? All right. Remember, there is duality in the Aquarian age as well. It is up to you to decide which pill you want to swallow, the red or blue. The Piscean age is a time of gentleness, materialism, and artistry, but also its impracticality. This is possibly due to the rise in the European empires. To the spirituality undeveloped person, Pisces represents servitude. To the disciple or aspirant, the vision of service to humanity, world savior, as Jesus, came to the forefront. So how do we know these changes will occur? It's taken science a long time to verify what ancient people have known for thousands of years. Ancient people such as the Hindus, Egyptians, Maya, and Hopis revered the higher powers and made understanding their existence their daily focus. They accepted the unknown and respected the divine. In fact, trying to understand the cosmos and how they affected them was their lives. Our ancient relatives understood the effects of cosmic alignments on the earth. And of course, like ley lines and everything else, even though it could be purchased separately, in the astrological bundle, one of them is one of the charts that you would get is I could plot any landmass, but I typically focus on the United States because most people who are purchasing it are in the United States. And so it tells you based on ley lines and energy patterns and everything else, what places are best for you to live at within this continent. Okay. Modern scientists run everything through the senses and scientific method. If it doesn't pass the test, it isn't real. But that's changing. Quantum physics doesn't follow the rules because energy changes depending upon who's doing the experiment and what they were thinking about at the time. Thoughts are things. Science has always also verified what the Maya have been saying all along when they're buildings in Stela about the coming alignments. When the Mayan Great Cycle, which coincides with the age of Aquarius, changed on or around December 21st, 2012, a world age shift to rise in spiritual consciousness should start to take hold. Even though, see, again, I'm not going to get to that right now. I'll continue on. Computers, satellites, and remote sensing equipment enable scientists today to see the effects of a past world ages and the changes they have brought to humanity. So it doesn't surprise them that we are going through the upheavals we are today. In fact, they have verified that the Maya were dead on right about the alignment that came in 2012. What this means, if you notice, almost 4 years ago, now the superhuman courses started, and even on the public podcast, there seemed to be a sense of urgency. Many of you all have been listening for years, okay? And so right after Dr. Blair, the Grand Master, transcended, it came straight down. It was like, okay, it was almost like there's a rush. Like, okay, this needs to happen. You need to know this. You need to know this. Okay? It was no BS. It was no filter. Okay, so let me continue on. There was this sense of urgency. This is, of course, in the present, it was our past, but in the past, we spoke of our future, not only as a collective, but as the individual. How can a part benefit the whole if that part is malfunctioning? Okay, you get that, right? How can a part, saying we're all here together, right? So everything on your desk, these computers and everything else, you did not make. And let's say even if you were the genius of all geniuses and you could do anything, you know how long it would take you to build even all these things around us? You were doing this stuff for millions of years, So yeah, so we're all here together, all working collectively. But if a person is malfunctioning, cannot do their part, it messes up the group dynamic. Even in conversation, it wasn't based in allegory. This is the conversation we've been having over all these last 4 years or so, whether it be in the podcast, whether it be at the events. It wasn't allegory. I didn't cloud it in symbolism. It was direct. It was and is raw. And this directness and rawness makes some people uncomfortable because in many cases, they rather go through life blind, not knowing. And even though they have the chance to know what the reality around them truly is, how it operates, and how you can become a literal superhuman being within it, they rather lead by belief or faith. Again, but they can know the answer. So that is foolishness and is the epitome of what the age of Pisces represents. Blind faith. Okay? But this is not without its merits. Those in our recent past, as they conquered or were conquered, as peoples fled lands or came upon new lands to not know nor understand a path, but led and walk it anyway based on faith alone, based on a perceived connection to source, is honorable. And for a time, it was good. As we progress through each cycle, it doesn't totally destroy what came before it. The next cycle takes aspects of the previous, for better or worse, and builds upon it. Just as in the superhuman classes, unbeknownst to those who participated, it was taking one through the inner progression of the great house, and each and every one of the classes had an aspect of the lesser houses, allowing a starter rise as the person travels through. Many couldn't make it all the way through. Some being banned because of being muwa, others because of being mentally unstable, some coming with wrong intentions, and the last few just due to being emotionally immature and insecure. Each class had ultimate secrets of an age, or what we can call that, okay? This is all from the great house, but let me continue on. Which all combined make up the great house of internal management of one's being, which is why in session 7, it just can't be open to the public. Literally, most people haven't progressed through any of the houses internally, let alone just one. So for example, all of us were born on a certain day. So you're within a certain house. You were born, or even though that's more figuratively, even here on this landmass, you were born here in America. Where are you born at? Oh, okay. You are a slave of a certain house. Okay. That's more physicality or more physical aspect of it. Okay. But nevertheless, when it comes to your astrological sign, you were born within a certain house, and most haven't even mastered. They've been in their body since they were born. And yet at 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, they haven't even mastered the one house they were born in. This is what the importance of the superhuman classes was and is. Even those who will be attending from coast to coast who haven't attended all of them, this is for this upcoming Superhuman Session 7. Okay, again, most of the people there have been to multiple classes, but most of them haven't been to all of them. There's only 1 or 2 or 3 people who have been to literally every single one. Every time it was a class, they made sure that they were there, and they don't live in Chicago. And so even those who will be attending from coast to coast who haven't attended all of them may struggle with just a minute amount of knowledge concerning the Great House. But I do have faith most of them will complete the internal cycle. As mentioned many times in emails, on this podcast, and in consultations, astrology is only a tool, like a hammer. It goes much deeper than looking into the sky and plotting lines on paper. Now, the foolish will believe toward the end of this perceived age, which is really the cosmic clock defining the natural evolution of the internal, that because they believe in this or have faith in that, they are right. This is nonsense, as those who subscribe to this really don't believe or have faith in what they claim they do. Because if they did, not only would society be more holistic, but the individual would be as well. All across the world, but specifically in the United States, there are only small enclaves scattered about that actually still lead by the faith of the past. This is evident in not only the way they treat each other, but the archetypal principles they adhere to concerning each gender, male and female, their purpose within the community to keep it in balance. Outside of these enclaves, everything is mixed up. People do not know if they are actually a male or female. Those of confusion have created what's called gender wars. Men are angry they were born from a woman or not a woman themselves, and women are angry they came from a man or not a man themselves. The places they subscribe to for guidance accepts these delusions of the congregation because even many of them are in confusion. And the basic tenets of how people should conduct themselves has been ever more pushed to the limits. Now, of course, we know this is by design. It's kind of interesting when I talk about anything dealing with going raw and uncut and deal with obviously reality-based things, people tend to disappear. And that means that those people and those bloodlines are not ready for the Aquarian age at all. Aquarian age deals more with raw, uncut, in-your-face reality. Even if it's illusion, it's still going to be directly in your face. It's going to seem real. Like what we're going through now. One typically starts each chapter of life by how the previous phase ended. Only a few are truly able to turn this around or excel far past the restrictions that the previous chapter dictated. That's why they have whole algorithms that if you were born in, let's say, this area of the city, there's let's say a high percentage chance you're going to prison, without a doubt. Okay? And they are right the majority of the time. And that's because how you enter life. And so as you progress through phases, you're not conquering the previous phase. So only a few are truly able to turn this around or excel far past the restrictions that the previous chapter dictated. As we move closer into the so-called age of Aquarius, do you think this is a good starting point? Whether it is orchestrated or not, or whether some of us know what the bigger picture is, just keeping it constrained to entering into this so-called new age doesn't seem to be a good progression. The age of Aquarius symbolizes the time of discovery, innovation, and progress. It represents the thirst for change, in the longing for a better future. Ruler of the collective, Aquarius speaks of humanitarian ideals, cooperation, and brotherhood, which could also be sisterhood, of course. It also rules the realms of the personal and collective mind, the searching and sharing of information, and the fight for personal and intellectual freedom. For the last centuries, the Aquarian energy has been gaining force. At the same time, science has been developing in a faster rate. Each year, it has already completely changed societal structures. Technological advancement permitted the invention of machines. Internet opened a full range of new possibilities for social connections. Social media completely changed the way human beings interact, and globalization may be one of the greatest marks of this age. Moreover, collective thinking and technological advancement are contributing to the fight against the social and economic inequality, and the fight for expression and freedom of identity has opened the door for more diversity and acceptance, which is really NWO agenda. We can say 21 sustainable development. Got to get people off the earth so the earth could go back to a forest. Oh, this goes on and on. So what we see as we approach ever closer to this so-called new age is the ever more killing off of those who have hate within them. We all know of these types, and whether if they are right or wrong, it is not for debate. Just the fact that they harbor hate within them, which leads to division, is the reason this part of the ritual is taking place. In short, they have to go. Now, I'm not saying this. This is what the energetic principles around us are saying. Some mix up hate with not being inclusive. Do you let everyone into your home? Yes or no? So if a guy or girl was walking down the street, you don't know this person at all, will you just randomly let this person in your home? Again, yes or no? If the answer is no, does that mean you hate them? Of course not. As such, just because you don't deal with certain types of people or accept their ways does not mean you hate them. You are just not inclusive, accepting of everyone, which is far different than holding hate within your heart. As we progress further and the dormant energies increase around us, these people will find themselves out of the equation, and it's already happening. That's why certain things I just can't say on the air here, because, and the main reason why is because the Muwa, they listen. You best to believe it. And the Muwa, let's say the energy is saying this person is so vile internally, they have to go. Period. And certain, I'll play this. The Matrix has called their number, and certain circumstances are put in place for them to exit the Matrix. But because they heard something on this podcast of how to power up or something like that, they evade their own demise for at least a little bit longer. And that means, does that mean they're going to learn? 99% of the time, no. They're going to cause more problems until they actually do go. That's why the certain things can't be even said publicly, because they're going to cause problems. So let's talk about real quick here. That's the end of the formal Pisces and Aquarius age information. I'm going to talk about the new age and consciousness real quick. Talk about the people, new age people and conscious people for a really quick moment here. And then we're going to get a view into 5D reality. Okay. So, let's see here. All right. So let's talk about new age people and conscious people, because there is a difference. Of course, most people around us call themselves new age. New age this, and they do things and they act in ways where literally I could pick up a book by Madame Blavatsky or even by Aleister Crowley, and how they describe how people will act, they're acting like that. Those are considered new age people. Okay, whether it be an orchestrated creation or whether it be a natural creation based on the age, those people are acting out a script, a program. Because if you are a unique individual, how can I pick up a book and turn to page 304 and how they describe how you're going to act, you're acting exactly like that. But yet there are people all around you who are as or more conscious who are not acting like that at all. They're not in the book. That's the difference between new age and consciousness. A person could be conscious and be totally self-aware. Again, there's levels to it. Okay, there's levels to being a new age person. There's levels to being a conscious person. But, and I'm not talking about the Hotep people. Okay, Hotep, Hotep. Okay, I'm not talking about them at all. Okay, so being conscious, no matter what age you're in. Right now, if you're conscious, you could be dropped in the age of Taurus. You could be dropped in the age of Aries. You could be dropped in the age of Gemini. And you will still be conscious. You will still be aware of what's happening around you. Okay? You will still be able to maneuver in that age. But a new age person would not, because they were only created for that particular age. So if you drop an age of Pisces person into an age of Gemini, they're going to tweak out. Okay? They're going to cause problems naturally. This friction is going to happen because they're not meant for that age. Okay, so right now what's being created is more and more of these new agers, you know what I'm saying, these as we keep going further and further. And I'm not saying they could be good people. It's not about if they're good or bad people. It has nothing to do with that. Okay, it is that they are literally a creation. They are a program. And of course, since we know that they are programs, and we know that it's not happening naturally, because obviously, conscious people could tell, oh, this is all orchestrated. That means they are an orchestrated creation. Hence why those who are pulling the strings in some of these houses, some of their cohorts were books going back, again, like Madame Blavatsky and stuff like that. And you go look at their books and you see them describe these people. So these are creations. Okay? So that's the whole point of be your individual self. But, of course, it's already foretold. I'm not going to get into any of that, but it's already foretold what's going to happen. Period. You know, it's just that certain, it is what it is. But do you, be you, literally, be in the know the in being, strive for internal balance, and meditate as much as possible, and be as aware as what you do as much as possible. So now let's get into this clip I'm about to play here in a moment. So I'm gonna put the clip on loop because it's a short clip and it's gonna recycle over and over and over again because it is a short clip. But let's talk about the astral plane. And so I hope many of you are enjoying this podcast tonight, even the way everything is set up. I'm really enjoying the fact that it actually looks really nice as far as how it looks on the screen. I have multiple screens up here, and so I'm seeing what you see. And I like how it's showing how it should show. Like how, I just like the way it looks. So so each time is going to get better. I'm going to play with this software more and make it more entertaining. So with that, let's talk about the astral plane. And sometimes throughout these consultations that happen, people, of course, contact us, and they go into, they talk about their dreams and talk about OBEs, which is outer body experiences. And they talk about the astral plane, and we get into this and that about many different things. And so I'm going to show an aspect of this. But before I get into it, I'm going to describe a little bit beforehand. First of all, I'm going to ask you a question. Have any of you went into, let's say, for example, a place like Walmart? We all know what Walmart is. Have you ever went into a place like Walmart and when you go in there, you don't feel good? You feel, not necessarily that you feel sickly. There are levels to it. Some people may feel sickly, but it can even be on the far end. On one end, you feel sickly, which is an extreme. I mean, actual sick, like you want to throw up. On the other end, it's like, you need to go to Walmart to pick up something simple, and you just don't want to go. There's many people that I've talked to that know they say they have to go to Walmart. Walmart is the only store in their town. They have to go there to pick up something. They need it for the house. And they just refuse to go. They prolong it as long as possible. They say, I hate Walmart. You know, have any of you ever heard people say that? Maybe you say that, right? Do you think that's a natural response just to a store? Do you think so? It's a natural response to hate a big blocked store. It's a natural response for when you got to go on Walmart. You're like, it feels like a chore, literally, even as an adult. And you're an adult, you don't care about going to stores and stuff, but yeah, it feels like a chore going into that type of place. You ever wonder why? I'm about to show you why here in a moment. So with that, check this out here. So this is a view into the astral plane. You see? Okay, it shins out. You see the smoke, you see the shock waves, and more buildings disappear. Okay, so in the astral plane, let me turn off this audio here. I want to make sure you all were hearing the audio of that. Okay, so in the astral plane, I'm not going to loop it right now just because I don't want it to. It will keep playing the sound, and I don't want it playing the sound right now. So in the astral plane, places like Walmart look like it's not even a virus. It looks like, let's just say, like a black fungus, like a parasite hooked to the land. Okay, now the physical repercussions of this are, of course, we see, oh man, new Walmart came in town. I was selling some of the stuff in Walmart, but I'm a small store. I have to close down now. So those are the physical effects of what's happening in the astral. Okay, or the other, we can call it a different dimension. That's what's happening, right? Those are the physical things that we could see with our eyes, and we could touch, and we could see, because when we go there, that store no longer exists. But in the astral plane, the smoke you see there is the almost like the festering of a wound. Okay, and a shout out to the young lady and the young man who helped me, who kind of tried to bring this vision I had of the astral plane. Okay, they did the best they could, and they did it in a short period of time. I told them I wanted it as quickly as possible, and they really kind of needed a little bit more time. But I told them what I wanted. I told them how I wanted it, and they did it. I think they did a pretty good job. Okay, so shout out to them. All right, so with that, so in the astral plane, the smoke that you see there is, it's like, think of like in the astral plane, there's a parasite and it's hooked to the land, okay, and as it's festering, right, it's festering, it's poisoning the land, and it's poisoning the air around it. It gives off the smoke. Also, I'm going to play it again real quick here. So I'm about to play it again, so you can see the shock wave. All right. Let's see here. One moment here. I'm going to make it loop for a second. Okay. All right. I'm going to make it loop. So when you see the shockwave, right, this is the energy bursts that come from it. Right now, of course, in astral plane, down, businesses closing up. And this is not just Walmart. Some of the other pretty much the draconian establishments. Okay, the draconian establishments, this type of energy, this pestilence is with the majority of their establishments. Is that what Walmart is really strong. Okay, so unfortunately, this is why many of you, especially if this resonates with you, want to participate in your local municipality. You want to change your environment, okay, where you keep out places like Walmart and maybe keep the holistic places around, stuff like that, so that these energies of these places do not keep landing on the landmass, causing issues and pestilence. Okay, because not only, now we're talking about the physical things like when this, when one of these big box stores come to the market, say you live down the street from it, you live in the general area of it, you are feeling that. So just think about it. If every time you never knew, every time you go into Walmart, you feel okay, I turned it off. Some people were saying they couldn't hear over the voice. So, over the sound effects. Okay, so the thing about it is that you don't want to be anywhere. Well, in short, let me go back just a little bit. This is why you want to participate in your local environment. This is why you want to participate in the things that to keep your community thriving. You can't just stay in the house all day and rock on a rocking chair and have faith. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out and get some works in action, because these establishments, the more they pop up, they drain. When these establishments, if you go back historically, let's see here. When you go back historically, when you start seeing Walmarts popping up, using them just as an example because they're easy to pick on. Okay, when you start seeing Walmarts popping up across the nation, all of a sudden the nation started to lose. I mean, business. Not only did the businesses start closing, but people start to become poor. Again, these are the physical effects of this entity on the astral plane. Okay, so now you also feel astral energies. So, for example, when you let's say you one of those types that you can't stand Walmart. Like literally, there's a person that I talk to on a regular basis that tells me when we have our conversation that she cannot stand Walmart. She just hates. She literally says almost every time, "I hate going to Walmart." And I knew what was happening, but I said, and this is what kind of helped spawn trying to bring this into a physical version for you to see. Okay. And so what happens is that what if you live near it? So if you actually go into a Walmart and you physically feel ill, what if you live down the street from it? It is still affecting you. Like you've seen in the animation, you've seen the smoke. That's the pestilence coming from it. Okay. You've seen the shock waves. The shock waves are the energy bursts that it's giving off, which of course is negative energy. You're feeling these things. Even if you are slightly outside its main influence, you're still feeling it. You're still being affected by the businesses also that's disappearing. The food establishments are disappearing, etc., etc., etc. So I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. I am 100% sure of it. If you like this type of stuff, I mean, it's all about the reason why we're here to this point right now is because of you, literally. When after Dr. Blair had passed and ascended out of this realm, I said, you know what? Are people ready? And I was telling people back 4 years ago that, I mean, I can't force anything to be, because this is a community effort. It's not just me. Yeah, I pay for certain things directly, do certain things because I'm trying to get things moving as quickly as possible, especially in certain directions and stuff. But this is a community effort. So we are here. We are having this conversation because of you.
Yeah, baby.
So that's what's up. And it's very much appreciated because I enjoy being here with you. So with that, really concludes at least the main aspects of tonight's show. I want to say too,
There is no truth until you decide what truth is. Each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
Okay, it's going to seem super sci-fi-ish. Okay, it's going to seem, even in some cases, totally fake, but it's 100% real. You know what? It will be entertaining. Global family, look in the mirror. No matter where you're at in the world, I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see. So, again, we continue on. We have always events from mediciners to this other things.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for,
So,
I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
Stay in tune. Make sure you meditate. Make sure you strengthen your will.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
So, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see. So, any comments?
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
So we have a few options for to help you see. You can either text it
For his or herself.
in the chat box, or you could potentially call the Zoom number and I could bring you in. So let me pull that up real quick. Yeah, so I do see it's only 1% here. So if you call the Zoom number, I could bring you in. I will post the coordinates in the chat room. If not, if you type your question out, I will say it so everyone could know what was stated, and I will do my best to answer it if it is a question. So, one moment here. All right. All right, so here's the call-in information. If you want to call and be live on the show, you are welcome to. I'm posting it in the chat room now. One person in the chat room says they call it the ickies when they enter into certain spaces that are not of benefit. Oh, one person said Michael's. That's deep. That's deep. You know what I'm saying? I was at Michael's today. So I'm not sure if we spoke before, Tamaru, but I was at Michael's earlier today getting a picture frame, and it always just feels so energetically negative in there. I'm like, I was literally walking there today and saying that here in Chicago. I was like, the energy here is just, it was empty. It was almost like literally like only one other person in this big old warehouse type store. It was weird, man. There's no coincidences. Yeah. So, again, if you want to call in and say anything verbally on the air, the call-in number is there, and I'll bring you in. If not, if there's any comments, anything you want to share, even off topic, type it in the chat room. Again, just for bringing it back up again here. There are some upcoming events. There's the creative event. Okay, it deals with creativity. Okay, and creativity is an expression of love. Okay, an expression of love, I should say. So it's only $10 and it's an online class. Okay, people want to be a part, of course. Many of you kind of know how I do classes like that. So I do classes pretty much like this. Okay, at least online, that is. So you let's create. No matter what it is, let's create. There's only 1,440 minutes in a day. You're not going to get 1 minute more added to your life. So let's stop wasting time and let's create. What else here? Of course, again, we have March 20th, 2021. We have the Herbology 301. The cost is $110, and it includes vegan. The food is vegan food. Okay, so typically, like last time, it was vegan potato salad, dressing, cornbread dressing. It was barbecue cauliflower, and I believe a salad, something. So next time we're not gonna have potato salad or some of those items. It's gonna be changing up. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have some different stuff, but the food is delicious, tastes good. We have meditation, and the crucible meditation, even that just by itself, it makes the space the way it needs to be. So that's just that, and that's in Chicago. And so one person in the chat room stated, maybe I missed it. How does one capitalize during the year of Aquarius or during the Aquarian age? I would say, because that's something that I don't want to put publicly. Okay, just because the Muwa, if you don't know what the Muwa is, get the book Muwa. Okay, I'll post it here in a second. But there are things to capitalize on the Aquarian age for sure. And some of it is in the books. At least what to avoid and how to protect yourself, and so you can keep it moving, which in turn in itself could lead to more prosperity. But when it comes to saying certain things publicly, it's just too many of the Muwa who listen, who are always trying to take advantage of other people. And again, they're becoming more and more frustrated because they are internally pretty much damned internally. You know what I'm saying? So and I don't want to give them any strength at all. So I suggest that you contact us privately and we could discuss that. And so I'm about to bring up the book Muwa, for those who are not sure what I'm talking about. When I mention Muwa, when I mention pestilence, there's a reason. There's an actual book that gets into certain aspects of it. If you're gonna get Muwa, I mean, all these books are very inexpensive. They like between $9.95 and $12.95. Okay, you should get Muwa, Compression, and 2020 Quantum Clarity, because all of those are all books that all relate to each other and all deal with different aspects of the same energy. Okay, Compression deals with the land masses. 2020 Quantum Clarity deals with the age and where we are progressing to. Muwa deals with the energy of this age. Okay, and the people, specifically the energy of the people, Pacific entities, the Muwa. Okay, so all those three books are really companion pieces, and one should actually get all three of those. And so I'm about to bring up the Muwa here in a moment here. All right, so here's Muwa. And some say, man, is that serious about the pestilence, about the Muwa, that you can't say certain things like that on the air? Yes, it's that serious. Don't you understand? Whole lineages of people have been literally killed savagely by these entities. It's very serious. You know, and these entities come in many shapes and sizes. They don't care about color. You care about color. This person over there cares about color. They don't care about color of skin at all. It will infect anyone that is not a. See here. It will affect anyone whose internal fortitude is not strong enough to resist. All right, so you see Muwa there on the screen. It's the arch enemy of the empath. Okay. Okay, I'm reading here some of the comments in the chat room. Antonio in the chat room says, like attracts like. Such locations attract energy parasites who will attack physically and astrally. You are correct, 100% correct. And I didn't even get this. You may take one home. Hopefully not physically, but still. You may have an astral attachment. Just think about it. If these things, this is something. If these things, right, going back to the actual clip, if these things are obviously in the astral plane, there are entities that hang around this type of parasitic entity. And so if you walk into Walmart and your energy is not correct, you're down on your energy and stuff like that, you may leave with an attachment. And that it's not just for Walmart, it's for any of these types of places. Okay, you go into these places, even when you go to supposed vortexes all around the earth. Okay, you go into highly tuned in places. Now, just because everybody said, oh, this is all a positive place, you better be careful, because in sometime, even the most positive place, it'll be a spot there that would just an entity will just be sitting there, and you would end up taking one with you. One person said, can I recap on what tonight's message was about? I came in on the last 5 minutes. Well, you're going to have to get the replay. Okay? You're going to have to get the replay. That's what's going to happen.
Hell no, to the no, no, no.
Okay? So it will be put up when this live ends. And I'm playing with you, of course, but when the live ends, it will be put up. And you can't listen to it in the full, but it dealt with the Aquarian age. We talked about the Aquarian age, that we are slowly getting deeper into. We talked about the age of Pisces, the energy of people overall, dealing with all of that. So once this live stream ends, it's going right back to be live. So you could watch it if you choose to. The Muwa book was wrote by me. All of the books on the website were either wrote by me or Dr. Blair. Dr. Blair's books are, at this point, Man, Woman, and Child, The World Within, and his extraterrestrial experience. The books written by me are lessons. Pretty much every other book. There's about 12 books there. So Muwa, Oppression 2020, The Mind Configurator, the Sacrament of the Forest, which shows you how to become a guardian of the forest, literally. And there's a few others there. The sales code for tonight's podcast is Great House, GREAT, House, HOUSE, Great House. That's the coupon code for tonight. Coupon codes can work on everything except events. And this coupon code ends on January. Let's see here. What date did I put there? January 31st, which is Sunday. Okay, so January 31st, it ends. And again, it works on everything except events. I'm glad you found that to be hilarious too, Miss Mackey. Yeah, you just go to the Sonia. You just go to the Meta Center website and click on shop, click on books, and you'll see all the books there. Okay. If you are about atonement, about raising your vibration as high as possible, I would recommend the book Lessons. That book was written, of course, I wrote the book, and it was written in the year 2012. So I would really suggest that book. Many people on this line have had that book, and they could attest to the power that's within that book. Make sure you do each lesson. If you cannot pass a lesson, you don't read any more of the book. So I tried to present what I could publicly of mystery school or mystery, universal mystery concepts of the universe. And so to take one through releasing karma and rising in vibration. Out of all seven lessons, out of all seven, the first three are the most important. Out of the first three, the first one is the most important. So if you read the first one, it's all very simple, but sometimes it could be a little challenging in the simplicity. So if you read the first one, for example, and because each lesson has an exercise that you have to do. And so if you cannot do the first exercise, or you need to meditate on it, then you do not read more of the book. You put the book down and you come back to it when you can do the first lesson. And that's how you do that book. You do not read it like a regular book. So, all right. Anything else? Anyone? Let's see here. I'm going to the Zoom call here. Okay, so no one's in Zoom. So, all right. Except Maurice, I see you there. All right. So, is there anything else? If not, we will end the show here in a moment. Chuck in the chat said he dated a Muwa. And he said, hell no. Okay. All right. So lesson one is, of course, it's called the outward projection of the ego. I'll bring up book one lessons here real quick before we end the show momentarily. But lesson one is called the outward projection of the ego. Lesson two deals with living within the heart, which will allow you to have peace no matter what. No matter what is happening in the world, no matter what is happening around you, you will literally have peace. And nothing will pretty much, as you master it, nothing will just bother you at all. Okay? Not saying that you won't take action, not saying that you won't correct whatever, but it's just that it wouldn't internally penetrate your heart. Okay? Lesson three deals with guarding your mind. In these times, many minds are weak. Okay? They frizzle and frazzle over the littlest thing. Okay? And so they have lots of confusion and stuff like that. And so lesson three deals with guarding your mind so that those types of issues would happen, I would say, much less. I would put it like that. So I'm going to put up lessons here real quick. And so, anything else, anyone? Anything else? So here's lessons here. It's about to come up here in a moment. All right, so it should be loading up now. Okay. Oh, yes. And of course, one of the people in the chat was saying lesson 4 was one of the better. They like that one as well because you talk about utilizing your willpower. But that one's fun. That's fun stuff. Okay. That's the stuff that every new ager wants to go to. Okay. But, Yeah, but lesson 1 is actually the most important. All right, so is that it, everyone? We're going to do the countdown. So any other comments? Questions, anything you want to share? Going once. Any other comments, questions, anything that you want to share? Going twice. Once, twice. All right, so I guess for now we will call this show an end. The next show will be on Dr. Blair's, Grandmaster Dr. Blair's B-Day, which is February 13th. Okay, it's going to be a very interesting and fun announcement, and we have a show that day. That is a Saturday. Okay, and so the show will probably, I'm not sure if the show would be at this time, but at least at 7 p.m., but you will get a notification about that. And so, hope everyone keeps doing what you're doing. Stay balanced. Stay focused. Keep everything moving forward. Forever forward, never backwards. And we will talk soon. All right. Take care.
This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted lullaby. This enchanted lullaby.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.